Hi there everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a good day. Lovely weather at the moment. Time for another Palace Daily. Big news has happened since the last Palace Daily, of course. I just want to start by saying thank you guys so much for the support on the Imperial Wolf content. More videos to come on that front. And I think that it's going to be really exciting times ahead for the club, and I'm really happy to be there. And yeah, to see you guys support is fantastic. So more stuff to come on Imperial Wolf. But right now, Palace Daily. Big news coming out last night. Arsenal made an opening £40 million offer, £40 million bid for Wilfried Zaha. Initial thoughts, what a joke. It's laughable. It really is laughable. It's not a serious offer. I don't think, if anyone wants to suggest that that's a serious offer from Arsenal, I think they need to get their head checked out, because I think it's purely, in my opinion, the bid is purely there to rattle Zaha. £40 million bid is about half of what we're valuing him at. Even Arsenal aren't that stupid, right, to seriously think that they're going to, buy our Palace's greatest ever player, arguably the best player outside the top six, for £40 million. At least I hope they're not that stupid to think that that's what's going to get Wilf Zaha away from Palace. I think that is the whole purpose for them bidding that low, is to just try and put the seed into Zaha's head, to try and get that thought, right, we're serious, we are putting money on the table for you. We know it's getting rejected, but I think their whole aim with that bid is to try and get Zaha to force through a move from Palace's end. Reason being, of course, I think they don't have the money realistically to pay what we're asking for. I don't think many teams do. So for that reason, they've got to try and get the price down as much as possible. And if Zaha comes out and puts in a transfer request to Palace, that obviously changes everything, and then that means the price will come down and it will be more realistic for them to sign him. So from that sense, I can understand the bid, but realistically, they've taken Arsenal taken a big blow from both sets of fans. I think it is quite a laughable bid, and it does put, and at this time with the whole Kroenke out stuff, it's not great sort of opening bid to be doing, but it gets the ball rolling, I think, and that's what they see it as. On top of that, we've had comments from Wilfried Zaha's brother come out to say that Zaha dreams of a move to his boyhood club Arsenal to play European football, and that he wants Palace to try and accept an offer. I had to scratch my head when I saw it. I was like, obviously Zaha is going to take into consideration and the thoughts of all of his family members. He's that sort of guy. He's a massive family man. We've seen over the years on social media his relationship with his parents, especially his dad, and how that was a big part of him coming back to South London and staying in South London for his second stint at Palace, which he's currently in, of course, was to be closer to his family and to his dad, who he obviously cares so much for. So obviously Zaha takes into consideration the thoughts of his family in a lot of the actions he makes in his career, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. If his brother has that thought, I'm sure Zaha would listen to it and bring it into consideration. For him to come out, though, his brother, and to say it to Sky Sports and put it out into the public, his opinions on the matter and allegedly Zaha's thoughts on the matter, it's so wrong. Like, this shouldn't be how it goes. It's making things messy, and the messier things get, the more likely it is that the price will come down, or people start falling out, whether it's people within Palace or relatives of Zaha and Crystal Palace, or Zaha himself and Palace. I do think it's less likely Zaha's going to fall out with Palace just because of his connection with the club and his links. But it's the messier things get, the harder it will be for us to keep him, and secondly for us to get the money we're looking for. So for me, I think his brother, in the politest way possible, should keep his mouth shut. I think we should wait until Zaha comes back from AFCON. Obviously, he scored a fantastic goal to help Ivory Coast get through the group, so congrats to him for that. He's going to be out there for another week or so at least, in my opinion, because Ivory Coast are one of the better teams in the competition. So I think until Zaha gets back, we're not going to see much traction. I think it's going to be a lot of talk, a lot of waffle. Until Zaha actually gets back in the country and can settle and discuss things in person, I think that's when we're going to start seeing some more realistic movement, or etc, etc. I think, to be realistic, it's going to be extremely hard to keep him this window, Zaha. We're absolutely, and I do want to address this point as well, because people still can't seem to get the grip with the £80 million fee. I've seen so many seen so many fans from a number of different clubs just bantering us, laughing emojis like, how can you price him at 80 mil when X player is worth X amount? I'm like, right. A lot of people on Twitter, a lot of Palace fans have addressed it, but for those watching this YouTube video who may not understand us, still think it's banter for us to be requesting teams to pay 80 plus mil for Wilfried Zaha. Let me just run it down for you one more time, okay? No, he's not worth 80 mil in the current market to the teams that are looking to buy him. No, he definitely isn't. To Crystal Palace, though, he is 100% worth 80 plus million. He's worth more than that. He's worth 100 million. Reason being is, as I said earlier in the video, he's our greatest ever player. When you have your greatest ever player at a club in over 105 years of history, it's going to be, well, 115 years, I should say. It's going to add a big number onto his transfer value. He's the greatest player in the club's history. He's done so much for the club. We're not just going to give him away for peanuts. We're not, it's going to be a highly inflated price. For a team of our level to have a player of that quality is incredible. It's one of the best players. He is the best player I've ever seen play for Palace, and I probably ever will do. You've got to also bear in mind that with Zaha in the squad with that quality, as I mentioned, it pretty much guarantees our survival in the Premier League. And survival in the Premier League to any club is worth way more than 100 million. If you get relegated, it's going to cost you much more than 100 million. So that alone, to have Zaha in the squad and to know if he's fully fit for most of the season, it pretty much guarantees our survival in the Premier League. That immediately makes his value justified to us, to Palace fans, and to the club. And then finally, you've got to remember there's a sell-on clause for United. They've got 20. I think the rumoured fee is about 15 to 20%, depending on which sources you're looking at. But it's a large, percentage fee of the fee. So whatever we do sell Zaha for, 20% is going to go to United. We've got to therefore put the budget up, or put the fee up for that reason, because whoever we bring into the club after Zaha eventually does go, whether it's this summer or at a later date, he will never be of the quality of Zaha. He will never be as good as Zaha is. He will never be have the connection to the fans that Zaha has. Whoever comes in to replace him will not be the same player that Zaha is, and it never will be. So effectively, we're looking to downgrade with the Zaha money. We're going to replace him by downgrading, and we're going to have to give 20% of the money to Manchester United. All of these factors mean that he is 100% worth 80 plus mil to Crystal Palace. Whether your club or your fans think he isn't, to Crystal Palace he 100% is. So hopefully that clears things up. And those are my thoughts on the Zaha deal, the Zaha offer from Arsenal at the moment. I think it is laughable. I think that Arsenal are the only club right now I can see him going to. And obviously it shows Arsenal probably got a bit more transfer budget than we first thought. But realistically, I don't think they have enough money to buy him. They want to rattle him to bring the price down, to try and force through a move from our end to get Zaha or his brother or whatever to try and force through a move. Realistically, the best thing they can do is to offer 50, 60 mil plus a player. I think that, or player or two, that will get some thoughts going in the boards from Parish and the rest of the club's board members, and that will start to get the ball rolling with a more realistic offer. Until then, can laugh it away. Nothing's happening until A, Zaha's back in the country, and B, 60 odd mil plus offer is received. Then things start getting more interesting because you start leading on to that price bracket. But again, will Arsenal pay that much for a winger when defence is their priority? I think Arsenal fans, comment down below your thoughts. I'd love to hear from as many Arsenal fans as possible on this. You may want him, but do you need him more than a top-class defender? You've got to weigh it up. You've got the attacking threat there at the moment. I do think Arsenal are going to carry on with this, and this is going to go on through the summer, so it's going to be really interesting to see what happens on the Zaha front. I will be updating you guys on my thoughts and any news that comes out as regularly as possible, so stay tuned on that. Just before I finish off the Palace Daily, I do want to touch on the Palace ladies side, Crystal Palace FC. Of course, we still operate under one bracket, but when I'm addressing them, obviously, I've got to address them as the Palace ladies side. Big news coming out. Obviously, the fixture list came out for the new championship season. We're kicking these off against Coventry. So that's, a good first game at home. So as I said in my previous videos, I'm looking to do more Crystal Palace women's football content. I'm hopefully going to be going to more games next season and potentially vlogging them if that's something that you guys are going to be interested in. I know that there's still not a lot in terms of outside of Palace. I think Palace do great work in terms of the media team covering both the men's team, the women's team, the youth teams. They do very well in covering all the teams. But outside of the club, there's not that much content coming out of that much content on the Palace ladies side. So I want to be giving that to you guys who are really interested in how the ladies side is getting on in our hunt for the WSL. We're obviously one promotion away from, effectively the Premier League of women's football. So, it's a big season for us. We're making some good signings already. We made 3 signings already in the summer, and it looks like there's going to be more to come. Some Premier League, Women's Super League proven talent there already coming in. So looks like we could be making a real push this season to try and get up that table. Maybe not necessarily, it's debatable whether we're going to have enough from finishing, in the lower regions of the Championship last season to boost all the way up to top of the league in the season coming up. But it looks like we're making the right movements, right signings to try and get as close to that as possible. So fingers crossed we do. Let me know down below. Again, guys, do you want more women's football content on the channel? I definitely want to do it, but it's a matter of what you'd like to see in particular. Is it vlogs? Is it updates? Is it specific like Palace Dailies, but specifically for the women's team? I don't know. I want to know your thoughts on it. I'll definitely be doing more in the next season though, for sure. So expect more content coming out. But as you can tell, guys, the main gist of today's Palace Daily was the Zaha offer, 40 mil turned down by Palace. It's going to be a very, very long transfer window. Hope you enjoyed it, my thoughts there. Hope you enjoyed the video in general. Please like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. Let's get out to as many Palace fans as possible. Comment your thoughts down below. Read all the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. Love to hear your thoughts as always. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.